My fellow North American colonies, we, the Canada West, hear your pleas. It is clear that our current government is defunct and stagnant, with there having been 12 governments within the span of only 15 years. It is evident that our current form of government only creates a futile political deadlock born out of our own resentment and distrust for each other. Even the influential George Etienne Cartier of Canada East agrees that the only way that the North American colonies can advance is through unity and cooperation. We need to learn to work together if we are to develop as a nation. Our unity is not only a matter of political importance, but also a matter of survival as well. How long is it before the Americans across the border stop quarreling amongst themselves and look instead north for an enemy? Even though the British motherland promised neutrality in the American Civil War, they angered the Union with how they favored the Confederates during the Civil War. The British jeopardized our safety with their reckless support of the Confederates, such as how Britain threatened retaliation when the Americans took two Confederate agents off of the British mail ship during the Trent Affair. The British also allowed Confederates to stage attacks on Union-controlled Vermont, using Montreal as a base. In the end, the Confederates lost the war, and the victorious Union will not be quick to forget Britain's lopsided neutrality. It will be us, the North American colonies, that will suffer the wrath of American vengeance. Alone, we stand vulnerable and easy pickings. But together, as one body, one nation independent from any ruler, the US will have to recognize us as a separate entity and will have to vent their frustrations against the British elsewhere. It is clear that independence under Confederation is the answer to our problems. Even the British motherland supports our Confederation. Deny it all we want, but the truth still stands. Britain no longer loves us. They placed American cotton ahead of the safeties of her colonies. The British do not want to burden their taxpayers any longer with colonial matters. Britain wants her colonies to be able to stand on their own 2 feet so that they will need not to provide financial and military support. It is time that we realize that we have to outgrow the term British colony. We can prove to the world that we are not just a British nation, but a strong, distinctive nation. It is time for us to create an identity of our own. We stand as a land of diversity. While other nations are torn apart from their differences, our differences shall be our greatest strength. Diversity will be our identity. It is time that we cast off our burdensome yokes of old and begin anew on the path of advancement under a new flag, a flag born of the people of this land.
Of the division of federal powers versus the provincial powers, Canada West is more focused on the federal level, such as building the railway, uniting the colonies, and national defense. I'm George Brown, and I'm a journalist and politician from Canada West. Canada West is currently stuck in the middle of a political deadlock with Canada East. I propose proportional representation as a solution. Representation by population is the ideology that representation in the legislature and the amount of power distributed to each of the colonies is based solely on the population of the colony. I believe that representation by population, or rep by pop for short, is the most sophisticated and logical way of distributing power amongst the colonies in British North America to ensure all colonies are being represented as equally and fairly as possible. Under rep by pop, it would also ensure that every citizen's vote is counted equally. No vote would count more or less than another under this system. Rep by pop would also benefit and represent the majority and would not cave into the demands of the few when we need to accommodate the needs of the many. Also, currently in the United States, there's a doctrine called manifest destiny, which is an ideology that all of North America belongs to the United States in the name of God. These types of religious doctrines and ideologies should not influence government decisions and policies. Therefore, I propose we create a separation between the church and the state. Government funding for Catholic schools throughout the colony is already causing many English Protestants in Canada West to be suspicious of unchecked French Catholic power in the colony.
For far too long, people and provinces of British North America have been isolated and detached from one another. But this time is over. If we, as a people, wish to advance our land and protect ourselves from our enemies, we must join together into a union. My name is Alexander T. Gelt, and I come from Canada West. Under our new confederacy, the central government, not the provincial governments, will assume the debts of the provinces that join, as well as some of their revenue-raising powers. Not only that, we will also pay them an annual per capita subsidy. In recent years, Great Britain has taken their interest off of us, and in doing so, has put us into a recession. On top of this, the United States of America has also ended its reciprocity treaty with us. As you know, our southern neighbors, the Americans, would like nothing better than to come in and help us in times of need, and in return, ask the provinces they've helped to join them as part as the United States. But we can avoid this if we choose to unionize in order to help whoever needs it instead of turning to our longtime competitor, the Americans. British North America spans hundreds of thousands of miles, and we have no way to traverse the land, and therefore settle those lands. Under a union, we would finally be able to have the time, resources, and money in order to finance and build a railway, connecting the Maritimes to the rest of the provinces. Without a railway, we will also be hard-pressed to defend ourselves in times of need, as if we were required to move our troops to the border or across territory. It will take many, many times longer than if we do not have a railroad in order to speed up the progress.
A message from the Government of Canada.